let's take a look at the route that we're about to see here first. So this is the original route from AllTrails that I used to plan my day and to record the video, and this is the map that I use for navigation. But for the purposes of kind of explaining what you're about to see in the video, I'll go ahead and switch to my activity on AllTrails. And as always, I'll link both of them below in the description, so no need to worry, you have access to both. But my activity in terms of route and wayfinding is basically identical to the original from AllTrails. Couple of things that I want to highlight in terms of the important data here. So the entire loop was about 15.2 kilometers and it had about 1,000 meters of elevation gain. So for me, that was a moving time of 4 hours and 40 minutes. And my total time was about 5.5 hours. So this includes, stopping for breaks, stopping for photos, stopping for videos, taking jackets on and off, etc., etc. And I'm sure that many of you could probably do this even quicker. As you can see by the length and the elevation gain, it's not super demanding. But honestly, for me, the thing that slowed me down was just the terrain itself. It's not the physical nature of having to climb a lot or run a lot or walk a lot. It's just that in places the terrain was very rocky, very steep. So you're scrambling or using steel ropes or climbing. So that kind of slowed me down. But also I was stopping and taking my time to take some videos and photos. Anyway, the route begins at Ammerwald Alm here at the bottom. And as you can see on the map here, there's a nice parking lot, but I recommend getting there pretty early because by the time that I made it down, that parking lot was really, really full. And I even saw people parking along the road, technically illegally. But so if you want to enjoy the nice comforts of the parking, highly recommend that you get there as early as possible. So from there, we'll basically follow up this river up the hill, and it's essentially light hiking, nothing too demanding, a little bit of gravel and scree. You can see some of my photos here that I've posted along the way, but you'll see the video as well. Now, when we get to this point, Weitalpjoch, at roughly 17 or 1800 meters, this, at the point that we make this big left turn here, that's when it starts getting scrambly. And right here, Weitalpjoch, I believe, is about, what, 5 kilometers or 4 kilometers in. Looks like about 4. And after about 1 kilometer, aka 5K in, it turns into the ridge traversal, which again, you'll see in this video. So this ridge right here that the blue dot is moving across, you'll see in the video, but that's a very, very steep section and it's exposed in some places. In some places, there's steel cables that you can hold on to or clip into for safety, but this entire ridge, for the most part, 80–90% of it is a no-fall zone. So please be careful, please prepare yourself, look at the photos, look at the video, and before you go up here, please be sure that it's something that you can handle because it's not physically very demanding, but mentally it can be a challenge if you're not used to heights, if you're not used to certain kinds of terrain and general levels of exposure. This ridge might be a little bit challenging for you, but the views are incredible. I mean, just absolutely breathtaking. So I'd highly, highly recommend it. But again, just keep in mind, please look at the video and the photos and decide if this is something that you feel safe and comfortable traversing. Now, worst comes to worst, let's say you get here and you decide that you want to turn around, that's completely doable. Hiking down back to the parking lot is still going to be beautiful and fun. And it can be, an easy way to just kind of avoid that. Then you can also see there's a trail here kind of in the middle. I didn't take this trail, but that's also a way that you could avoid the ridge. Of course, you also miss the peak, but could be a safer alternative for those of you that don't want to handle this exposure up there. Now, after we get done with that ridge, roughly about 7K in, so the ridge is about 2K, I would say, in length. But after 7K, we essentially start our descent back down. And the descent, as you can see here in the elevation profile, very gradual, very smooth. There's really no technical terrain, nothing dangerous that I would highlight or anything like that. The views are really beautiful. The landscape's amazing. There's a little bit of forest. There's a little bit of valley. You even passed a little hut along the way, the Jagerhütte, which is also in the video, though I'm not sure if it was open during the time of the year that I was there. But long story short, very, very comfortable and beautiful descent back down to the road, and ultimately back to the parking lot. So that's kind of the route that we're about to see. Again, highly recommended. Only big area I want to highlight for beginners or people that haven't done this before is this ridge. Just make sure that it's something you can handle. Otherwise, the route is very beautiful and I highly recommend it. So hopefully enjoy the video. Well, here we are at the Hochplatte trailhead. We just saw that trail sign, which said it should take about 4.5 hours to get up there, which seems a little bit much to me personally, but let's see, what time is it now? It is exactly 7:12, so we'll see if that sign is correct. The round trip is about 14K. There's about, I think, 1,000 meters of vertical climbing, and we'll see how it goes, but it looks like a really cool and exciting loop. And as you can see, the leaves here are just starting to change. It's kind of crazy. Just a couple days ago when I was hiking at Zugspitze, this wasn't the case. Everything was green. And then starting yesterday at the Weitalpjoch, I noticed that leaves are changing, and it almost seems like in just a couple of days the scenery is completely different, but very, very beautiful, just fall beautiful. So I'm really excited about this hike. Let's see. All right, coming up to another interesting section here, about 2.3 kilometers into the hike, and we have to cross this water yet again. It's a little bit steep here, and the rock is a bit moist, but actually it's not too bad. There's even a nice little stone bridge for people like me that just brought some breathable trail runners rather than some waterproof hiking boots, or waterproof trail runners, I guess. But I feel like when it gets super warm later in the day, I tend to regret the waterproofness that I enjoyed on the way up. And there we go. That is done with. So the sun is coming up, and we've just been ascending this steepness right here. It's been definitely taxing, I'll tell you that. Nothing too bad in terms of slippery gravel or anything like that, but the steepness is severe. And trekking poles are really helping me out here. I'm very glad
that I brought them along. So long story short, I'm looking forward to reaching the top in hopefully about 1 kilometer, 1.25. I'm about 3.75 in right now, and it looks like there's about 200-ish, 300-ish meters left of climbing. So would be cool if that sun would reach me before that so I can warm up. The climbing has definitely kept me warm, but there's been this slight breeze that's just a little unpleasant without the sun helping me out. So on we go. Wow, what a beautiful greeting by the sunshine here at the top. Absolutely incredible. We've got a beautiful trail marker here as well, help us out. Looks like it says about 1.25 hours out from Hochplatte, which once again seems a little bit much, but sometimes the GPS data is a little misleading. Plus, you never know what kind of terrain is there. It might be really steep and scrambly, which kind of requires you to take your time. But in the meantime, I think I'm just going to stop here for a second and just enjoy this absolutely breathtaking view. Well, folks, the approach shoes are definitely on. It's about 4.7K that we've gone so far, and this looks like this is the last bit to the summit, and it's very scrambly from what you can probably see. Here we are, folks, last 100 meters of climbing before the peak. It's been very scrambly up to this point, and I think this is just going to be a little bit more of the same, but it hasn't been anything exposed, so I think this is honestly fine for anybody. Once again though, I do recommend some stiff shoes, whether you go the boots route or the approach shoes route, but personally, I don't recommend doing this with trail runners or something with a very soft sole. Is it doable? Yes. Is it going to be easy or fun? I don't know about that. feels like the scramble that never ends. Every time I think I'm close to the top, I see that there's more to go. Okay. That's getting a bit interesting. All right. So this red marker here is misleading and dumb. Don't go that route. That's the way we need to go. Luckily, this rock is very, very good. A little bit of rock climbing skills do help here, but the rock is very, very good. Way up, and we're basically at this kind of a knife ridge, is a little overstated, but we're basically at this ridge with the steel cable, and I don't know if you can see that, but down there is quite a big drop, so definitely don't want to wind up down there. So we're gonna use this cable extensively, and we're gonna pick our steps very carefully, take our time here. One hand always on the cable. If you want to go two-handed, that's also fine, but never ever let go of a cable in a situation like this. Another one of these ridge situations here. Once again, cable. Through. Let's see if we get any more spicy sections. That one was maybe on this trip the spiciest section so far. I have to be honest, that's very exposed, and if you don't have a head for heights, I don't think you're gonna have a good time there. Another little interesting section here. You can see the peak. My goodness. I really thought it would be closer. Basically, I thought it would actually be before the steel cables, but no luck. So we were just at the peak. Took a little bit, around 2 hours and 10 minutes to get there. Moving time, that is. But even with the breaks, it wasn't too much longer. And now we are continuing our path, which is looking a little interesting here. So gotta be careful. The descents are always more dangerous than the ascents, because you're tired, you think, oh, I got to the peak, everything's good, but the battle is only half won. But we got some beautiful views to enjoy here. Our next stop should take us through the Jagerhütte, which is another little hut along the route. But first, we gotta get off the steepness here. So, let's enjoy some more views and slowly but very, very carefully make our way down. So I met a couple of people coming up this route. They were very, very helpful, and they said that this is really the only section that has steel ropage. They said there's one other one after this as well, but it's a very, very short one. So they said this really is not a via ferrata, but it's just kind of a helpful guiding rope. Nevertheless, folks, this is spicy, especially if you're afraid of heights. I think for me, it's okay. Honestly, I think if I had my Via Ferrata set, I would actually put it on here. Just better safe than sorry. It's not really about anything else, but this is it's a good amount of exposure here, especially if we look at where we came from. But I'm gonna hope that those helpful ladies were correct, and that we don't get any other surprises here. Another little bit of scrambliness here. Honestly, you could probably climb, I mean, not probably, you could definitely climb this without the steel rope, but I'm really glad that it's here because a lot of this rock is really slippery from the hundreds and thousands of people that have done this route before. Oh yeah, that's what's up. Fun. Folks, I think we're getting to the end of the spiciness here on this ridge on our down climb. Which unfortunately means we're also getting to the end of the beautiful views, but that's okay. All good things must come to an end. Magnificent. This has been an amazing route, honestly. Really. A little, again, a little spicy here and there, especially for people like us that aren't seasoned mountaineers. part of the descent is basically over. I can see a trail marker down there, which is probably going to point us back to the hut where we started in the morning. And it looks like there's probably not going to be much more, if any, type of scrambling situations left. But let's see. Looks like we got some mountain goat friends hanging out here. Look at those guys. It's so easy for them. I wish it was as easy for me just to hop up and down rocks and gravel and hills. They just make it look so easy with their little hooves. There's another little goat friend down there roaming around. Maybe he's waiting for me. He's gonna ambush me. Take my car keys, take my wallet. There's not much else of value that he could take other than some pretty sweet hiking gear, I guess. But I think those goats are well better equipped for any kind of terrain than anything I have on me. So he'll probably just take my wallet in the car. That's okay. It's a rental car anyway. Who cares? It's not mine. So here we are at the Jagerhütte, excuse me, one of the stops here along this route, and we're not going to stop there today. Actually, I'm not even sure if it's open, but that's worth checking out if you're interested in stopping here along the way. This route can also be done, I think we did it counterclockwise. It can also be done clockwise, in which case you would reach this hut pretty quick. But in our case, we're reaching it kind of towards the end of the trail. But here it is, Jagerhütte.